Alright, so I'm going to be posting this before my videos, guys, and you can partake in it or not, but we're going to do some singing bowls and I'm going to say a little prayer. And you're welcome to just sit and relax and free your mind up before the reading with me. I just wanted to do this. I'll timestamp it, so if you want to go straight to your reading, that's fine too. So we're going to go ahead and start. Take a deep breath. I call upon light and all beings whom serve only love and light. I ask you, angels, ancestors, and light beings, to cleanse and protect this space. Ask for your protection and guidance so that your divine sight can be delivered with love and healing for the greatest good. I ask you, angels, ancestors, and guides, to assist those whom these messages are meant for, to assist them on their journey of healing and spiritual growth. I appreciate your unconditional love and guidance. Thank you, angels, guides, ancestors, and Lord of Love. Amen. Okay, guys, so singing bowls. I'm just going to relax and listen. Thank you, Spirit. Okay, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed that, and if so, I'm glad, and I'm happy you guys come to my channel and enjoy your reading. Hi, guys. Welcome if you're new, and if you're returning, thank you for your support and coming and watching your videos. I appreciate you. I got a whole bunch of new decks out here, so I'm really actually not sure how I'm going to pull these yet. I'm kind of sitting with it. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with a little reading here, a little, what's my own little tea spread here. See what's going on, and I pull 3 cards for like kind of the energy that has been, the energy that is, the energy kind of coming in, kind of the center of it, the heart center of it, and then the root of it, kind of where it came from here. Everything on the top of it is the picture for right now, and everything kind of in the center below is kind of the inner and behind the scenes, if that makes sense. So there we go. 2 cards. 9 of discs. Okay, so we're dedicated to healing here. We're doing it on our own here, Cancer. The 4 of Cups. Oh. Yeah, this is a, let's see what's here. Okay, guys. And on the bottom is the King of Wands. All right. This is feeling, you know, driven, passionate, confident. It's feeling really inspired to do what you need to do. But at the root of this reading is the 5 of Wands. which is some inner conflict, some anxiety, because there's something, it feels like in the heart space here, it's just heavy heart energy is what I'm getting. And this is part of like the healing process and stuff. We got the star card right above it. And also maybe just like wondering what you need to do next. There's a feeling here of doing a lot of work on yourself with the 9 of Discs and the 4 of Cups, and being really comforted in that, but kind of feeling alone. Doing this alone. It feels like, and there could be just the feeling here of being conflicted about it's like you've definitely been working on yourself, and you definitely have a lot here that you're holding on to and you're comforted by within yourself. But I feel like it's almost like too much. Like it feels like too much, but nothing's too much, you guys. So let's remember that, like nothing's too much. There is just a feeling here of, this could be about wanting to move forward to something and actually like putting yourself into something emotional, maybe putting your monetary gains, stuff like that, into something comfortable. I don't read like that a lot. Usually this to me is doing a lot of hard earth work on your own, kind of being independent, and then there's this feeling of feeling emotionally secure with that, because there's a lot of healing going on here, but there's some kind of conflict here about wanting to release some, this could be old, still trying to release like old karma, old cycles. Just there's this feeling here. We are going to get some more on that, but I feel like there is a strong drive forward to do this. It's just right now in this moment, and if this is your reading, it's your reading. If not, don't make it fit. But there's just a feeling here of kind of feeling heavy-hearted and kind of conflicted about doing this on your own. Maybe you feel like you would like some help, or you would appreciate not like feeling, maybe it feels like alone. So let's go ahead, and I think what we're going to start with, you guys, is I got these, this is the Wordless Oracle here. And I did pick some decks that I feel are going to be a little deeper, maybe help us look at some shadow work. Right now is a good time to be doing the shadow work, and if you don't want to do shadow work, then, you know, maybe just these videos, I don't always specifically try to get shadow work done, but right now with Pluto just going back into Capricorn, I feel like it's pretty important that we are looking at things that we need to let go, things that need to die in our lives and be released so that new things can happen. This feels like you're holding on to kind of an independence or an individuality, but are kind of conflicted about it. It could feel heavy-hearted, like you could be having a lot of anxiety about all the work you're doing by yourself, it feels like. And you might feel a little lonely, but there's the star right here up in the center. And it's just a feeling of being comforted and guided by your guides, your angels, and being led by the universe into a place where you are emotionally content and secure with the work you've done. It feels good, but under the surface, it feels like conflicted about kind of why. It's like, why am I carrying all this? Why? It feels like lonely. It feels like, but besides the divine, besides being led by your guides, it feels like it's just you and your North Star, your purpose, your goal of healing and bringing your spirit to the earth. But it feels very It could be causing you to feel very held back in the earthly, but moving forward spiritually and innerly, like with yourself. But just like outwardly, it feels very like conflicting, which I can relate to this, you guys, because it just, the energy is just like, right now we just really are seeing like, we're seeing the truth, like of, you know, we're seeing behind the unspoken words and the spoken words of others. And you might ask somebody their feelings about something and they say a thought, you know, and it feels like there's a lot that's not coming from the heart around us right now. It's all coming from the head. And it's like, we're really guided by our inner light and our guides. And I am a Cancer sun, you guys. So I am, okay, so on the bottom, there's this lighthouse and these birds flying away from this lighthouse. This gives me the feeling of everybody, like collectively, leaving a place that maybe was once deemed safe, or a guide, like an old guide, an old safe place, and flying onto something new, because there's a storm rolling in. There is a feeling here of, it's interesting, because I feel like you're staying, like, and I think I had another message like this a year or two ago, and this could be the same energy, kind of, it feels much like that, but it feels like there's a lot of people doing the same thing, going towards the same direction, maybe leaving the comforts of what they know to be their safe space or their foundational, like, home, and this could be the place in the heart, this could be a physical home, but there's a feeling here of you staying and kind of not going, how do I put this? There's a feeling of you having a knowing of some sort with this star energy and this energy, that things will calm down. And even though like everybody's doing one thing, you're doing another. So this might be this may be why you feel kind of alone. You feel like kind of conflicted, because it's like, I kind of want to do what everybody else is doing, but I'm going to stay here where I'm at, because I know it's like, I know there's peace here, I know there's safety here, and I don't know what's out there. It's kind of like giving me the feeling of not going towards the unknown and staying where you're secure and safe within yourself. With this middle one, it's like, yeah, it's kind of going off by yourself. There's a lot here about being alone, being by yourself, taking your own path forward, taking your own road, maybe while others are choosing other things. You may be a little conflicted, and this could be like, you could be asking yourself, like, why am I sitting here holding the fort down, kind of is what I'm feeling, while everybody else goes in a new direction, and I'm still sitting here in the same place, same energy, same, not saying there hasn't been a lot of work done, guys, we are, but there's a feeling here of staying in the same place in our being, but then there is this, it's kind of interesting, because I'm getting like, the angels, your guides, could be guiding you to, like, go towards, kind of, maybe, this feels very weird, it feels like, you could be guiding to leave your safe place, leave your, to invest yourself in something, even if this is something, you know, you've been resisting because you've been alone doing your work, and there's a lot of anxiety, because, and I will tell you this about the Cancer, we don't like change, and we don't like moving, we like staying put, we rule the 4th house, that's the house of culture and family roots, and home and peace and comfort, so we want to stay where we're comfortable, but I feel like we're being guided to really step out of our comfort zone, and it's like, and this could really mean physically getting out of your comfort zone in your physical life, or stepping out of your comfort zone in, like, maybe what you're putting your energy into, maybe what you're putting yourself into. When we put ourselves into something, we put ourselves into it forever. And it's just, and it takes a lot for us to kind of, I don't want to say, but abandon ship, abandon cause, what we deem as a worthy cause, and usually it has something to do with home, family, are those closest earth relationships we have. But there's a feeling here of angels guiding you in a different direction. Maybe to do something a little for you. It feels like there's something like they're calling you to, and it feels like portal energy. It feels like upgrade-ish energy. It feels like there's still a feeling here of being not surrounded by people, but the opportunity to see something nobody else has seen, be somewhere no one else has been. This is a really interesting energy that I'm getting from this. There's a feeling here of coming into a place of awe, but it's going to take a little bit of travel across some dry and barren, and the dry, barren desert, which means you might have to leave your emotions, and you might have to leave your safe emotional place. This place, the place where you're at peace and you got your feet in the water, and you might have to dry up those emotions and put on your walking boots and get a little I keep wanting to say dry, but that sounds so like detached. But there is something here. I feel like Spirit is saying you've done all the work you can do on yourself here. You are content, but we're guiding you to something else. There's something else here, a doorway to something else. And we will watch you, we will guide you, we will protect you. We got you, even if it feels lonely and it feels like, oh my gosh, it's not emotional. Even though the Cancer is emotional, this place that I feel like we could be getting ready or are traveling through feels like, and that's what I was saying in the beginning, it's like you look around and you ask somebody how they're feeling, especially those closest to you, if you're in this kind of dynamic, and they'll just say a thought, and it's not really a feeling. It's like, how do you feel about what I just said? I don't feel anything about it. I think it's not my deal, or I think it's not. It's never like, there's like a lack of like compassion and emotion. I feel like we're being surrounded by, we're seeing, maybe it isn't new, you guys. We're just opening our eyes to that feeling of not being, not feeling safe anymore in this space, because there's a feeling here of wanting to put your emotions somewhere. One thing Cancers can't deal with, you guys, and that is an unemotional relationship or an unemotional life. We are emotional beings. So everything is about the emotions. Now, after years and years and years of knowing that, you do learn to balance out your emotions, because they can cause a lot of havoc too. Especially if you don't know how to handle your emotions, or you don't just let them go through you and you kind of like feed into certain emotions, or you know, but this feels like we're being guided here to kind of leave an emotionally secure place in ourselves, where we're kind of alone, like, and it's lonely, and it's going to be a little more like doing this on our own here. But we're going somewhere that Spirit's guiding us to, where we're going to see something. Either this is inner sight, it could be actually outwardly that you're being guided away from the actual home you live, or you're being guided away from that like emotional secure place where it's like it feels barren, or for a minute, and then boom, stuff opens up. There's some kind of something our guides are trying to show us here, that they need us to leave our that emotionally secure place. You'll know what your emotionally secure place is, Cancer, but it just feels, and it is conflicting. It does cause a lot of anxiety. I feel that. It's like if you don't ever, like, say, if you don't have strong boundaries, for instance, or, and that's another thing with the Ten of Wands too. It's like, sometimes you got to say, I'm not carrying your bowl anymore. I'm not carrying everybody's emotions on my back anymore. I'm not carrying everybody's spiritual work on my back anymore. You need to do your own work, and I'm going to go over here because I have everything I need to make this journey without you, without your help. It feels but we're family people, we're home people, I'm not saying leave your family or anything, Cancer, but that could be what this is feeling like. That could be what this feels like. It's like leaving your roots, leaving where you're safe and secure, and going towards something different. Because there is a feeling here of feeling strong enough to go through anything, and maybe staying where, like, trying to prove something to yourself that you can get through something, or you can, and I feel like the angels and the guides are saying you don't have to prove anything, that you can make it through this storm. You've already made it through this. So it's time. Why don't you think about possibly not having to battle another storm, not having to go through, this feels like an end of a cycle. This feels like you don't have to go through this again. You don't have to go through another cycle of this again. You've learned what you needed to learn. You've done a lot of work in your earth life on yourself, maybe the way you spend, save, the way you take care of your material world. And it's leaving you feeling very secure and stable emotionally. But there's just this underfeeling, this undertone of feeling really anxious and really burdened by and conflicted about needing to continue to do something, okay? And you could be asking your guides and your angels, should I continue doing this? This is so heavy. We are going to get some more on this, Cancer. We're going to get one from the deep place here. But I feel like the angels are, and you could just be on a new journey, going somewhere new, doing something new, whether this is a job, a relationship, or just a different way of handling, like not keeping your feet in the emotions, like being very, like, I have been feeling this, and I think it's in the planets, honestly. It's like I'm done with it, and I have worked so hard on my cussing, you guys, and like everything over the past years, and I'm just like, I'm fired up. Like, I don't know what it is going on, but I'm like, I'm like, F-bomb that. Like, I'm like, fuck that. You aren't gonna hold me a prisoner to your burdens anymore. Like, I've done my stuff. This is so weird. Like, I'm getting like, and this feels like crazy. Shoreline. Yeah, it's like staying on the shoreline. Okay, so this is interesting because this came in under this. And it's like the same energy, you guys. She's right on the shoreline. She's contemplating. There's a contemplation here of going into this really emotional place, and it's interesting. And then it's like, it feels like being between like the emotional and the earth. And that's kind of what I'm feeling with like the birds flying away from the light tower too. It's like, there's this feeling of wanting to go get into something that this could be earth matters. Like, let me get some more cards on this, but it's very interesting. I'm almost seeing like a figurine shadow in the water too. That's what I'm feeling. It's like, I feel like there's guidance here saying stay, like there's like dry land here, and it isn't very emotional, and that's what you're dealing with, okay? But part of you may want to go into this really emotional place where you're comfortable, and where you feel comforted by even dark emotions and just emotions, and they can make us depressed, especially if we look around and we're like, everything we see is just, it's like, sometimes we gotta really, it doesn't change the fact that we're emotional just because we don't act on our emotional like instincts, or we keep our feet dry for a while and we don't dip into other people's emotions and we don't take on their emotional stuff. But there's like this shadowy figure swimming in this water. It's very interesting. So it's like, I feel like if you were to get into, and then maybe that's why we're being guided out of this emotional energy right now, is because it could be that okay, so our greatest strengths are our greatest weaknesses. And one of Cancer's greatest strengths is the fact that we're very emotional, we're very empathic, we're very understanding, and, you know, there's a lot of understanding of the emotions. But there's this feeling here of, if we get emotional now, or we go back into this watery, comfortable place that we are longing for again. We are longing for this place again, because we've been in a place of work, and trying to kind of not detach from the emotions, but just control the emotions and totally like sift through them. And we've done a lot of this, you guys, and I feel like it's still coming in saying, keep going on this dry road that doesn't have the water, because there's something here. And when you come out the other end, this is like, all like, it looks like a whole bunch of water in here, and then up in the sky, it's like there's this new understanding, or this new epiphany, or this new feels like a new understanding, a new seeing of something that is requiring not that we go jump back in, because I feel like there's, and I don't even feel like it's like the shadow of, I feel like it's just this energy of like waiting to take us down into the depth of these dark emotions, and maybe depression, maybe you know, submerge us in emotions again, which we worked very hard to balance out, because we originally were submerged in our emotions. So it's kind of nice to have our feet on the ground, and it's kind of nice to be, but then once we've had our feet on the ground for a long time, which has been the case, at least with me, it feels very dry and barren, and it's like I want to go back into that place where I'm emotional and I'm showing people my emotions, and I'm just dripping with emotions again, because I miss that part of myself. And I'm tired of being dry, and I'm tired of being surrounded by desert, and I'm tired of people being unemotional, and I'm tired of carrying that. I'm tired of carrying that like inside. It's like this feeling of carrying like all this emotion inside, but not being able to show it or share it, because it shakes your stability, it shakes your comfort, because when you do share it, it's still not being like reciprocated or something. So you're standing there on this shoreline, and it's like asking you to look at your angels and trust, look at your guide, trust, look at your guidance, trust that you are being guided back to a very I feel like Spirit's asking us to understand that this is what it takes for us to be able to be like, God understands, but people don't. So it is lonely, it is dry, and we have to really like contain our emotions, and that includes our emotions of like kind of getting angry too, and burdened and all that by people's like responses to, like, I know it's just been a struggle, like trying to, and then the shadow, that's exactly what I'm feeling. Like there is a feeling here of if we go back into our emotions or an emotional place, wow, this might be guiding us. It's interesting because it feels like it could be guiding us into that emotional place that I just said looks like there's a shadow in it. And that is kind of what I have been kind of contemplating the last couple days, is like, especially with like cardinal signs, which Cancer is, we're the leaders, and we're here to guide others and light the way for others, which really sucks because that's that 10 of Wands. It's like carrying a burden, because we're the first ones to go in the dark cave. We're the first ones to talk about the emotions and get judged for them. We're the first ones to just be looked at as crazy because we're like really deep in our psyche and feeling things that nobody else has felt. And, you know, slowly people are starting to feel more of this, you guys, and we have to really follow our guidance right now. There's a lot going on here with Cancer energy. Oh yeah, so this is just interesting. We got the shadow lurking in this space, and she's in the boat, and she's like, I am not getting wet. I am not putting my feet in that water. Because she sees it. She knows the shadows are there. And it's like an unknown place, and it's like I don't want to go there. But then it's very interesting because this is like a towery energy, and it says veil, and she's coming up. She's coming up from an emotional place, but there's still a veil over her eyes. It's very interesting. I'm gonna read those, you guys. This is really interesting. Okay, and on the bottom, beauty. Let's look here. We got shoreline. $99, okay. Oh, these are newer decks, so I am going to read all three of these, you guys, and because I haven't even, you know, with moving between spaces. Oh, and the new space is almost going to be done here soon, guys. This is the space between spaces, but it is working out all right. But I can't wait to have like a window and like, it's going to be nice. So, that being said, shoreline. The shoreline is liminal and sacred space. That's what I'm feeling. It's like our sacred space. It's a space to bring our questions and doubts, a place to throw stones into the ocean, to cast what feels hard and immovable into a vast open space that can hold anything we give it, a place to remember that even the most sharp and jagged edges can be smoothed if we wait long enough. The shoreline reminds us that there are no final answers or permanent conclusions. There is only the rhythm of the waves washing over the earth again and again, of life happening, moving, washing over us, and taking us deeper into something we can never fully grasp, but that belongs to us nonetheless. Oh, this is interesting. So, I had this message a couple years ago about this water, and it was a whole water energy reading, and it's about this water slowly changing the form of the earth. And I feel like water signs, and especially cancers, are a part of this. It's been a very long process, and it feels never ending because it takes a lot of time for physical change to happen through when it's all like emotional and unseen stuff that has to do those change, that has to be kind of understood to make the changes, if that makes sense. The themes: liminality, depth, vastness, unfolding of cycles. Questions: what's waiting for you at the shoreline? What will you bring to this space and give up to the ocean? I feel like it said, you know, it'll slowly but surely bring us into the depths of the ocean. And that's why this girl's on a boat, and she's like, I'm not even standing on the shoreline. Like, I'm in a boat, and I'm not getting sucked into that. Because we know what's there. That's why we know what's there. And we know, and I don't think it's the emotions that are bad, it's the judgments from people about all the shadow, all the light, all the things that come from deep within. The looks people give you when you say things that are emotional, you know, or you are like, how do you feel about that? And it's like, you're asking me about my feelings? Like, weird. Like, yeah, it's so weird. Like, it sucks. Like, sometimes, like, a lot of the times, guys, and we've been through this for a long time, so we just got to keep at it, you know, with patience, compassion, understanding, because we do understand what's there, and we understand that's why people don't want to. That's why we understand why people don't want to go into the emotional realm. They don't want to go into the water. They don't want to go into the psyche, because they're going to find shadow. It's part of it. But once you deal with that shadow and you go in and you look at it, it's just, it releases you from something. You know, it helps you to see something differently. It helps you to understand people. But sometimes I really feel like people don't want to understand other people, and they don't want to have compassion, and they don't want to have empathy. They would rather judge, and they would rather be hard and mean and be ununderstanding so that they can feel like safe. You know? It's just interesting, the message I'm getting. I trust the depths of the ocean and of my soul. I listen and learn from what I see at the shoreline. I claim my place among the waves. It's very interesting because I am getting that. Like, we're kind of staying up here on the shoreline because we do know what's there and we've been there. And this emergence, which I know, and it depends on where you're at in the process, guys, but I think because of our emotions, a lot of us have been mistreated and misjudged and misunderstood. And it's put us in a cold place. Like, it put us in a place where I hate to say it, but there was times when we didn't love ourselves and we didn't love who we were because we thought something was extremely wrong with us because of the way we were treated because we were emotional. And that really hurts and that really sucks. And that's stuff we're working on healing. You know, it's rough stuff, you guys. And it does feel burdensome. And it does feel... It sometimes feels unfair, but we can't look at it like that because this is our job. This is our part. Because we understand it. But there's a lot of anxiety about not kind of diving in there with everybody right now, going towards that with everybody right now, because it feels like okay, so just as much as in water you can find the depth and the shadow, it's also cleansing. You know, it's like, you have done some work here. You don't need to do everybody's work for them. You know, even, you know, doing something like this, it's like, you know, I try to help people and with their shadows and their whatever it is, and depressions, anxieties, addictions, self-esteem issues, self-worth issues, and try to, you know, take your power back in a way that's not like wanting to rip people's heads off because of the way they treated you when they had the power, which really sucks, you guys. And it takes a lot of understanding to just let people deal with their emotional stuff, even if it sucks, because you know how much it sucks because you've been there. And then it's like, not showing them the same treatment maybe they showed you, not stooping to that level, kind of not falling into the shadow, like their shadows. Like, it's interesting. You know, I'm gonna read the shadow real quick because it's very interesting, this message. I've been feeling this too, and I feel like we are doing a lot of shadow work, and there is a fear here of taking on everybody's emotional depth and shadows after being so long and coming so far and doing so much work, and feeling secure with our emotional foundation and security again. Spirit might be trying to lead us to a place where we are in fear. We're afraid. Even though, like, I can tell you 2 years ago, I was really looking forward to, like, that. It felt like it's just like right around the corner, like this really great thing. And it has been great. I mean, I'm still doing great. But then there's this another energy coming in that's like, like battle emotional royale. Like, seriously, I cannot express it. But if you're feeling this, you know what I am talking about. And it's not a comfortable feeling because we're really, really seeing just how much work there is left to do in this realm, in this emotional understanding, this empathic, this psychic realm. And it's just like, man, there's so much shadow in there. And it's like, I know that, and I don't want to go in there because I've already took care of mine. But I think Spirit's guiding us in a place where we can help others, but we're also being asked kind of to accept that this is kind of lonely road and we can't actually be emotional to help others, which is, and you can't, because it's going to throw them off right away. Like, you try to help somebody or you try to say, hey, you know, this is like your shadow. Like, they're just like, yeah, no, it isn't, you know. It's like, okay, hi shadow, bye shadow. Like, you know that, but you can't call them out on it because they won't want to do the work. It's so weird. There's this weird feeling about, and I've learned this, about sitting back and like watching things unfold and knowing damn well what I'm seeing and going, yep, they've done that. Yep, they're in denial of that. Yep, they're being cruel about that because they're hiding. They're hiding from themselves and they're hiding from their own work. And we cannot no longer carry that. We have to let people go in and deal with their stuff. I am feeling that. We can just be here for them, but we can't be emotional about it, because then it affects us and it takes us into shadow, because one of our biggest shadows, you guys, is our home and our family and our roots. So if we feel rejection, and there's just a lot of deep things, because that rejection and that unacceptance came from us being emotional. So the minute we show our emotions and it triggers somebody to treat us a certain way, it triggers like that shadow in ourselves. Does that make sense? It's very interesting. Let's go to 58 shadow real quick. This is longer, but I am a Cancer, and I've been feeling a lot of this, and I really want to do a thorough reading for us, because it is like Cancer solstice right now, and we're coming into Cancer season, and I'm a Cancer, and I just pulled out these new decks, and I knew it was going to be kind of like, I knew it was going to be heavy stuff, guys, but that's okay. This is where we do the work, and we really can look at these shadows of our own and see where we kind of need to stay away from others and their process of submersion. It's like we're coming out of submersion. We've been doing this alone. And then we kind of feel like, I feel like there is even a part of us that's like, here I am still, trying to help and carry everybody's spiritual baggage. And because I'm a Cancer, because I'm empathic, because I'm understanding, because I've been there, because I believe in unconditional love and I have hope, I'm trying to help everybody through their storm. But then when I'm rejected, or I'm unaccepted, or they don't see it that way, it's a wound in us, you guys. It's a wound where it's like, and it makes us, and the worst thing, I think, Cancer's, one of the worst feelings we can have is hopelessness, because we do get very depressed, and we get very, 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 very much so in the dark, you guys. And if you know this, if this is your reading, and I am speaking from a place in my heart, and I'm just saying, you got to be there for people, but you just can't fully dive in emotionally to protect yourself. Like, there's a protection right now, but I think the angels and guides right now in this reading are saying, we got you. You're going to feel a little lonely here. It's going to feel a little dry. Just keep trudging along. I hate to say that to you guys, but that's what I'm getting. Like, keep moving forward, even through the dry responses, and it's like, man, I just really want to put some emotion into this, make it wet, and get it all, emotional. Don't. Like, I really feel like things like this it's like kind of letting everybody kind of do their thing. You can help guide people, but it's just, look at it from a distance. Be observant right now, because I really feel like we're seeing a lot of, like, whether even certain people or certain groups or certain situations even have the potential to get submerged in this energy. We were born into it. It's part of us. It's a huge part of us. It's a really hard energy to deal with. It's a hard energy to go into, because there is so much of the unknown there. There is so much mystery and fear, but yet there's this feeling when you come out of it of learning something, and it's going into those deep shadow realms. We all have shadows, unspoken truths, unlit corners of our psyche, unseen forces that shape our movement through the world. These shadows often reach for us, rising to the surface to be witnessed. They come up and they show you, like in that first card where it looked like a shadow swimming. It's like, you see me over here. And then this arm coming up out of this depth of the water, and she's like, yeah, I see you, and I'm on the boat, bitch. Like, we're very strong, and we can take on shadow, but we know how long it takes to get through shadow. It isn't quick. You don't get through shadow work in a day. You don't get through that stuff. It's never fast. It's never easy. It's very interesting. I'm getting this very strong message, and I'm not even quite sure what it's saying. I'm just going to have to watch it. But it says, these shadows often reach for us, rising to the surface to be witnessed and acknowledged. Will we greet them? Welcoming what we don't fully understand. And I think this could be where I'm talking about like helping others and kind of, or separating from others because you're used to helping others, could be a shadow in itself. And if we look at it and we observe it and we say, okay, I don't fully understand why this isn't working, or why this person don't feel or doesn't get this, or this situation is so dark. It's really looking at that darkness and really not being emotional about it, just really looking at it and going, I see you. And if you're at this point in your process, you see shadow in just about, it's everywhere. But it doesn't mean you have to be a part of it. But we want to heal that because it's going to make everybody happier. It's going to make everybody more understanding. It's going to make everybody more loving. It's going to make people more humane. You know, that's what's coming to me. Welcoming what we don't fully understand and can't quite see offers us new perspective, orientation, and wisdom if we're brave enough to move toward what's reaching for us in the darkness. I know I've been feeling this. It's like, do I leave? I want to leave everybody's shit and shadow behind. I really do. But I feel like there's a lot in it left for us to learn. And that's why we're being asked to look at it, maybe help with it, maybe go back in. It's very conflictive energy. Part of us wants to go in a different direction. But it's like we're still these creatures of the water. Like we're still water. The themes of some subconscious mystery and darkness. What's rising up in the darkness? Oh. Rejection. The feeling of having to go numb again. Because what you're seeing around you is not reciprocant of the emotional energy you're giving it. That is the shadow. Looking at it and going, that's never going to be emotionally what I want it to be. No matter how much work I do. No matter how much shadow work I do. No matter how much work I do. I can only see that as it is. And it's that unchangeable shadow. Some people carry it heavier. Some people just won't change it. Will not release. Will not face. Will not accept that that's even a part of them. That's a huge shadow for this emotional energy. It's a huge shadow that we are light fighting. Not right fighting, light fighting. That's what I feel like. And I feel like also that's been another energy where it's been like, I'm usually like, I'm not going to say passive, but I've learned to pick my battles. And I've learned sometimes words and saying something or observing something and then saying something about it isn't worth it because they're not listening. They're not hearing you. It's very frustrating, you guys. I know this sounds so strong and like angry and a little bitter, and I know how this is coming out. It's just the way I feel. I'm sick of seeing it. I'm sick of looking around and seeing detachment and coldness and misunderstanding, ununderstanding. I'm sick of seeing everybody else's shadow coming for me and wanting me to look at it and examine it and tell them what's wrong, and so that they can reject me, so that they can try to bring me into it, so they can say, oh, that's not what's wrong. Well, why are you showing me this shit then? Because if you're going to show me this stuff, I'm going to call it for what it is. But I have learned, no, I'm not going to call everything out. I'm just going to let it play out, and I'm going to pray, and I'm going to let God do his work, because that's the only person that can change. The only person that can change this seed of this root of shadow that we can only shine light on. We cannot transmute it. We cannot change it. We can only shine light on it. We can only guide others to shine light on it. We cannot change others. It's God. God can change that. We can't. So it feels like we're wasting our time and energy, and it's defeating the purpose of making ourselves better. But it isn't, because through making ourselves more balanced in the emotional, we can handle those shadows better where it doesn't suck us in. But it's asking us to look at it, and contemplate and meditate on the shadow we see in others. And I think that's probably a good message for this reading, just to look at it. Some things could be revealed with the veil coming up here, what's rising up in the darkness and what wants attention? How might you deepen your relationship with your subconscious, making room for the insights and treasures alive for you in the shadows? Shadows ain't all bad, you guys. But you have to know how to work with the shadow. Withstand the shadow. So you can transmute it. Shine some light on it. Understand it better. Spend some time with your dreams each morning. What was reaching for you in that dream time space? What's mysterious, unsettling, or shadowy in your dreaming? What do you push into the shadows? Make a list. Choose something to invite into your awareness and notice what changes when you do. Fear of rejection. The fear of never having that really deep emotional connection that we want to have with people. Because people are people, you guys. We're just emotional people. We're people too. We're just in this. We're used to this. Like, this is our life. Like, we want to be understood. Whoa. So I just had like a little epiphany. Weird. So we've been in this psyche and this emotional this whole time. And I was saying, they want to drag us into their shadow. They want to... Actually, we want to drag them into the shadows. Boom. Pow, you guys. Wow. Big realization here. That's what we want. We want them to experience this so that they can do the growth, so that they can see what we see, so they are more understanding and compassion. Interesting. Interesting. There's a lot more to this reading, you guys. This is crazy. Veil, 69. There's more to reality than what we see with our eyes, hold in our hands, and know for certain. There's unimagined possibility and infinity mystery on the other side of the veil. And the boundaries between aren't so fixed. Sometimes we see, feel, or sense a hazy vision or vague impression of what lies beyond. Sometimes we see right through past the edges. Sometimes the veil drops completely, giving us a clear view of a magic we hoped but weren't quite sure existed. But in the moments when we can't see or feel the other side, when the more feels out of reach, like a distant dream, that's what this feels like. It's like, you want me to keep trudging through this like dry desert and searching for water that I know I actually could just bring to the show, but that's not what's going to help others look for their water. You can't keep making lakes and ponds and rivers for people. They have to make their own. We have to make our own emotional safe haven, you know? It's very interesting. I'm getting this message. What might it mean to remember that infinite possibility is right here, that we're not separated from the magic by nothing more than a veil? Closeness, separation, edges, connection, impression, intuition, and vision. What have you sensed on the other side of the veil? I'm sensing a lot. When has the veil parted for you, allowing you to see past your current reality into a new possibility? I think a lot of us, I don't want to say denial, but when we look around, we're seeing a physical truth. And that physical truth, it takes a lot of time. It's not going to happen overnight. Transmuting this energy, and we're going to see it in everybody. If you're at this point in the process, it's like you have to let other people do the work, and I don't know, maybe it's where I'm at, but I look around and I'm like, man, I feel really alone, you know, in this earthly life. Like, I feel like there's people hiding a lot of their emotions, and they aren't seeing it, they aren't wanting to see it, they aren't wanting to talk about it, they're not wanting to acknowledge yours, because that means, you know, morning dew. Let's see what this says. This always gives me good messages. There's a lot to this reading, you guys. Morning dew. The path to my own star. Yeah, with that star card right in the center. Made of reinventions. It is an open path which constantly surpasses the created ideas of who I am. The changing nature of life calls me to look at existence with new eyes, paying attention to my inner movements, and allowing the necessary space for every emotion. I create space for my light to shine, expand and illuminate my surroundings. I create space for my shadow to dwell, to embrace the comfortable and integrate my wounds with genuine love. As natural as the transition from day to night, I integrate the darkness into me. I loosen debilitating defense mechanisms that dismiss my gifts or hide my emotional shortcomings and deny my pain. Little by little, I break this programming that makes me despise my body or disregard my calling by focusing my energy only on others. Oh, that's what we do, you guys. I connect today with my inner rhythm, flexible, changing, and wise. Resilience is the key word of this card, and it is life running through my body every time I feel the healing of my scars. It is life pulsing in me when gratitude expands in my chest. It is life communicating in every tear, in every laugh. It is the sacred life in each new chapter. My resilience is my refuge. There I tell myself the truth and leave space for all that I am. What does our life compare to? And to the dewdrop that jumps from the beak of a water bird and on which the moon is reflected. Oh. All right, let's get a little Cali here. Little encouragement from the Cali Oracle. Dharma of Kali. Your most abundant successes manifest when you are aligned with your integrity. You do not need to put your faith in pathways or projects that do not resonate with your deeper spiritual knowing. Everything that is happening in your life is part of how your prayers are being answered. A new order is to be established, and you are being led into it. Ooh, okay. And we got changes. And that looks like that same portal. There's a huge shift and change right on the horizon, you guys. Right on the shoreline here. And then on the bottom, that 10, that burden. Oh, okay. Let's get this one here. Let's get one of these. Whoop. And it's pranayama. And we're going to go ahead and look that up, guys. This is way long. 69, and it was reversed. Breathe. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, pause, exhale, 1, 2, 3, pause. Inhale, exhale. Inhale. Hold it. Exhale. 1, 2, 3. Inhale. Exhale. Repeat 6 times before continuing to read. Let's do this, you guys. So inhale, and we're going to hold it. 1, 2, 3. Pause. Exhale. 1, 2, 3. 3 in, 3 out. 6 times. Okay, now we're going to continue to read. Just this practice will change the rest of your experience with this deck. How we breathe is how we live. Have your breaths been fast, shallow, and rushed? Has your life had similar qualities? When we move through our breath without observance, we move through our lives without observance. Life is meant to be cherished and held and devoured. Whenever things seem to be moving too quickly for words, come back to your breath. Especially those times when you feel like you can't take an extra 30 seconds off to breathe. This is when you need it most. Time is your perception. You choose how fast it moves. So there's definitely a lot of change happening, and it may be happening and feel like it's happening fast, you guys. And I think that's why we got this card, is to help us with that anxiety and the feeling of having this kind of knowing that there's a huge shift on the horizon. And I think, you know, there's a lot of good, but there's a lot of shadow that's going to be getting faced here. And I think we know that as Cancers. We know there's just more to it. It's not just, you don't get to the good without getting through the shadow. You got the river, flow, stone, solidity, and self-knowing, the lake. Wow. This reminds me of that reading I was telling you guys about the water dripping and slowly deteriorating the earth. And then all of a sudden the earth, it was actually a vision I had, and it actually cracked open. Like, almost like a cliff cracking open, and it parted, and then there was a huge lake in the center of it. And there was tons and tons and tons of people standing around the lake. And they were sad. They were looking into the lake. I think they were seeing the reflections of themselves. It was weird. It's such a weird vision I had. And I wasn't asleep. I was awake. It was during a reading, and it's one of those things that just happened. And I'm like, whoa, everybody's going to realize how much they needed water. And, you know, when there's all this right there in front of them, like, everybody's, oh, and this is so interesting. The stone where it said, standing on the shore and throwing the stone in the ocean. This is weird because the reading I'm referring to, it was water dripping on the stone, the earth. Here is the earth, us throwing the earth into the water. It's almost like where we're at, there's a lot more water, and it's like the earth is more just like, it's very interesting. And then you got the lake, and there's this reflective nature to it. That's what it's reminding me of, is that vision I had of this. And then this going with the flow, solidity and self-knowing, knowing that you can do this, even if this is the only earth you have. It's solid enough. It's enough because you know how to get through this really watery, emotional stuff. That is what I am getting from that, you guys. So let's just go ahead and get authority. See further by standing on the shoulders of giants. Elegance. Characteristic. Character is a habit long continued. Grace and style and manner of appearance, pleasing simplicity and benefaction. Charity begins at home. Voluntarily giving up of help, identifying areas of need and addressing them. It's exactly what I'm getting. It's like we're being called to help with this shadow energy and this emotional energy and this deep psyche stuff. And it's almost like, it does feel like it's like, why do I have to do this? But at the same time, it's our gift. It's what we know. It's how we've lived. It's our character is a habit long continued. It's like it's our character. It's the way we are. We can't help ourselves. And this is a legitimate right to order, decide, or advise by knowledge or experience. Yeah, we have this knowledge and experience. We have this authority in this area, and people are going to really, I feel like we've been working on this behind the scenes for a long time, even before we even knew we were working on it. And now it's like, oh, okay, we got a little bit more to go here, and there is a lot. The shadows that we're going to be seeing, acknowledging, are those ones way from the deep, way from the deep. So that is the reading, Cancer, and it was hugely long, but I do hope you enjoyed it, and I hope it helps somebody. And if this is your reading, I'm filling with you. I'm here with you on the shoreline, casting stones into the water, the earth, trying to make the earth be more submerged in water. We need it. We need this emotion. We need this deep understanding and this deep psyche, and we need that to happen so that everybody can balance them out and look at their shadows, so that there is no surprise when it comes to, and no denial and no rejection. When it comes to their own feelings, therefore they're rejecting and denying other people of their feelings, which causes a lot of hate and discontent. So that is the message, you guys. I'm gonna have to rewatch this because there was so much. But I do appreciate you guys coming and watching your reading. And as always, I thank you for your likes and your subscribes. And I will talk to you later.